Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel where today I'm continuing showing you the Dev Passion Project, how we're going to try and help devs find the reason why they started. With this, we have been vibe coding, and as I've been busy with this, I actually found a very special way of working with the vibe coding setup and Figma, which I would love to share with you today. All right, so I'm pretty sure you're looking at the page, and from the previous part that I've put out, it looks quite different, right? You can see that there's a bit more happening here. I think the previous time we actually left off at version 7 or 8, I believe, and the page basically looked like this. Not really attractive at all, but there were definitely some workable parts, right? And it had the pillars and exercises and so forth. However, since then, I've been tinkering around and have found a very beautiful workflow that you can use when you do vibe coding. So just to break this down, what we are busy doing, I've got a manifesto that I am putting into this website, Dev Effort. I want Dev Effort to be a place for developers to reconnect why they started, to see if these exercises could help devs get their inspiration back. Now, to do this, I had to do it relatively quickly, so vibe coding was the choice. You can see we chose V0 from Vercel, and so far I've been prompting and it changed a version, so I can show you a version that's a bit higher as we were typing V12, and we went asking it something, then it did something, asking, then it did something, and so forth. The problem was every time I tried to change something towards a goal that I was working towards, it would end up changing different parts of the application. For example, here on the start exercises, it added this random icon that was just not clicking next to it in place. Now I can change this in code, and you can actually do that if you go to the code part here and you can start fiddling around. But I thought to myself, let's pause for a second. Let me find a better solution to this vibe coding experience that I've been trying. And so if I move to my latest version, you can see that I got something happening, and something for this to really click and make a beautiful app. Now, let me show you the exact process that I followed. So it starts off with Figma. The first thing that you need to do is forget about vibe coding and first focus on what you actually want. Here we can go to Figma and design a web page, or you can find a Figma design that you like. The point here is for us to be able to connect our Figma design, showing it exactly which elements we want to use, the colors. It can basically get a design system from this. Then the next thing you do is start with your first page, select the actual frame, and I'm going to copy the URL. I'm then going to move over to V0, start a new project. In this case, I named it tutorial. And in here, after you have added your Figma to your settings, you can go and attach from Figma. Click on that, import your design, and click on next. This will now load the Figma design, making sure that it is the design you are looking at. And then we can go and prompt against that. Now V0 will ask you if this is the design, and yes it is, so we can confirm. Then in here, as it's loading, we can now paste our prompt. Now here you can be as detailed as you want to. I'm just asking it to make the design and think about the other pages as well, and give it some direction on the font that it should use. It should be able to pick it up. But now I'm going to execute this. AI works best when you give it that context, and then the results could be amazing. And just like that, it generated the website. Look at this. I think it's absolutely amazing, right? Think about the first few tries that we went and asked for a type of design, something that we had in our head, but it really wasn't getting there. And I wanted something that looked more like this. Now, I have to say, this is not 100% there, but it's pretty close, right? If we look at the site, it got every single detail in there, even this part with the gradient and the dark footer as well. So it's really not off. And I think that this is definitely 80% there. The only thing that is left is that 20%. Fixing things like the logo, some sizes, making sure that the text is what you want it to be, fixing up buttons, adding animations, and so on. So that is step number one. Now, when you have done that, that is the point where you can now go ahead and prompt and ask it to change a few things. Maybe add another page, add another Figma, and add your next pages. Once you have that and you're kind of happy with the 80% that it produced, it's done the bulk of the work. And the only parts that are left is to fine tune and connect it to data, maybe connect it to a database and all these kind of things. You can even do it in here as well. But for me, I wanted to get into the nitty gritty and actually fine tune some of these elements. So here comes the next step in the flow. Basically, you can see here you can connect your GitHub account. Once you have done so, you can push the changes that you have up here into the repo. You then go ahead, you find your IDE, you pull that repo, and you have a normal Next.js application that follows industry standards. You can go ahead and fiddle with the styles. If you are familiar with Tailwind, it will be very easy. You can make your changes as you want to. The last 20% happens here. It follows the normal development cycle, and you're kind of done if you want to be with vibe coding. At this point, it is just nice to do your updates and have 80% of the work already done. At this point, you can run your application, and here I have it running on localhost, and you can see I've made the additions that I wanted to. I still need to add the background blocks, but that will come as I might change that. However, each and every line of code here I've looked through, I have changed and adapted exactly to the styles that I want for dev effort. And I've got my manifesto cards, they are all hooked up to Arweave, of course, and a nice call to action. And I've updated all my socials and so forth. Some of the pages, right, that was very tricky to get right just purely doing vibe coding was the pages like these, where I had tabs and I wanted the colors to be consistent as I changed to the tabs, especially with these exercise cards. So we also have the exercises page where we can flip through individual and team, know your why, build with intention, empower others. And basically, I also have made detail pages for each one of these exercises. I have to say that things like these can be easily built with vibe coding like we've seen, but it cannot get you there the 100% yet. And because of that, and because of this workflow, it makes it very easy to go from that 80% to the 100% that you are happy with. So I just wanted to show this because I think it's really a good workflow. And of course, when you want to bring the code back in, all you have to do is you can pull your changes from your main branch and they should reflect here with a new version. Now let me know in the comments what you are busy building with vibe coding and if there's any other tools I need to check out. I think with this workflow, it makes it really easy to spin up what you need, quickly get there, and then get to build on what you actually want to achieve. Like I said, the next video, I'm going to talk more about dev effort itself and how I anticipate the developers to actually use these exercises and to see how these exercises can actually benefit someone who really wants to work on some of the values in these pillars. Now, of course, this is all AI generated here still, but that's going to be the fun for me, is to start with a blank slate. I've got the website and I can work on exercises with the community, which is going to be pretty awesome. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video for tonight and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers for now.